All right, hello everybody. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of that nice classical music that we have here at KBBF 89.1 FM. Again, like I said, you are listening to the Queer Life Radio Show. LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. The one thing that I am so pleased about being able to do this show is that KBBF, being a progressive radio station, being a modern radio station, is them wanting to be on the forefront of minority movements. And if many of you out there who don't know and who've been listening to KBBF, KBBF is the very first bilingual radio station in the nation, founded in the 60s with all that old Kennedy money, and we have a huge antenna out there on top of Mount St. Helena. So you can hear us all the way up to the very bottom of Reading. Yes, Reading out there, Tehima, Shasta out there out in the boonies, and all the way down to the South Bay. You know, we've had people calling us out in from San Jose, be like, hey, I picked up your radio feed out from there. And NPR's radio radar sweep says that KBBF reaches an audience of up to 5 million people, 1.2 million of which are Latino people. So it's some pretty incredible stuff. And the Queer Life, this show, I am your host, Kaya Kramer. We are, just so pleased to be able to bring you as much. Again, disclaimer here, I am not a doctor, I am not a lawyer, I am not a mental health professional, I am not a dog trainer, I'm not your best friend. Well, actually, I could be, but, If you enjoy this episode and you want to check out more of The Queer Life, all of our episodes are on thequeerlife.org. If you like us and you want queer news, you can go to facebook.com/thequeerlife. Yes, I know you want more things in your Facebook feed. You can also check us out on Twitter. Tweet us at The Queer Life. And we're also on YouTube, youtube.com/user/thequeerliferadio. Tonight's episode, we have a very special interview for you with Yui Karlberg, and she is a trans electropop artist here, and I am just so excited to share some of her music with you today. We're going to get that started for you in just a little moment here, but it's we always got some exciting stuff going on here. If at any point you have any questions for us at all, you can give us a call, 707-545-0318. That number again, 707-545-0318. We're going to play a little bit of music, and then we're going to get you started with the interview. All right, I think it's time for us to get started with the interview with Yui Karlberg. I sincerely hope you enjoy this. And again, if you have any questions for us at any points during this interview, feel free to give us a call, 707-545-0318. Check it out. We almost got that going for you. And the Yui Karlberg interview here is gonna get you going on. Let me just get you all set up here. All right, we are absolutely excited to share with you Yui Karlberg. Again, you can find her on the Queer Life. We've got links to all of her on SoundCloud out there where she shares all of her stuff. She's also got some of her music on iTunes. Is why I keep forgetting what that thing's called again. iTunes, and she was absolutely a treat. She's also half Thai as well. I am me as your host. I am half Thai, and it's just been really incredible just to connect with all these other amazing and talented artists. I'm just kind of a voice box out there sharing everybody's good stuff. So check out her interview. Hello, everybody. You are listening to the Queer Life Radio Show, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussion, and interviews. I am the host of the Queer Life Radio Show, Kaya Kramer. I am doing another remote interview with my very, very special guest, Yui. Let me introduce her a little bit here before we dive right into the interview here. She is looking fabulous today. And we are color coordinated, which is amazing. Great minds think alike. So Yui, let me read your bio, let me introduce you here, and then we will dive right into the interview. So Yui, and there is like a little stress on the end of the name. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, Yui, the vibrant, iconic, and diverse musical artist that is Swedish-born Thai Yui Karlberg has brought on platform from her first song, Unspoken, inspired by John Martyn, The Doors for the guitar style, and Bon Iver for the vocals. An entertaining, progressive milieu, much of her music resembles Anthony and the Johnsons, Radiohead, Sigur Ros, and as destiny would have it, her own dreams were subsequently born when she started writing her own songs at the age of 18. Yui began turning heads after having released her ambient folk debut album, Yui, in 2012. Then a year later, her second, Beauty Within the Beast. She recently released her electro pop third album, Touching the Rainbow. I love the name of that. Yui uses a loop pedal live and mainly performs in Bournemouth and London area, bringing this demographic into a lyrical delight with immense beauty and expression. Her soulful music is not only here to empower, but to inspire much love. Yui is building a solid name for herself as a creative composer and producer, walking in the shadow, praised as thought-evoking. Yui, thank you so much for joining me on this interview on the Queer Life Radio Show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So as this is remote, this will be airing live on KBBF 89.1 FM in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we'll reach the entire audience out there. Not to make you nervous, you know.
I'm not nervous.
But so Yui, I want to ask you what, and I ask this to everybody, just as kind of like a leveling ground. What are your preferred gender pronouns?
Anything related to female, please.
Okay. All right. So you identify as a trans woman?
Well, I identify more as female, but you know, like if I had to be honest, that'd be trans woman. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to first start off talking about you as a musical artist, because that's going to be the emphasis. But as this is the Queer Life Radio Show, we do talk about queer identity, and I'll ask you a little bit more about that afterwards. But could you let's talk about music. It says you got into music. You started writing your own music at 18 years old. What you mentioned some of your inspirations, Radiohead and Sigur Ros, but like, could you elaborate on that for me?
Have you ever heard the green stuff?
The green stuff, no.
Yeah, the green stuff. Mary Jane.
I live a little bit under a rock when it comes to names of songs. I have to apologize.
Well, Mary Jane is the reason why I started writing songs. It's like, you get a bit of Mary Jane, you put it into a bit of paper, you roll it up with a bit of tobacco.
Oh, marijuana.
Yeah.
Oh, Mary Jane. Okay, sorry. That's
that's the one.
Okay, so go on.
And I kind of felt like I was like smoking it, and my flatmates at the time, they're smoking as well. And I didn't really. I mean, I tried writing songs like since the age of 15, and I didn't really feel like I was getting anywhere with it. And then I was getting stoned, and then like the next day, I found myself writing these like really nice songs. The first one being Traditional Routine, which I never really released, and that was just about me and my flatmates getting stoned every day, and that was quite jazzy. But that's how it started. I mean, I should write a song about commemorating Mary Jane.
That's yeah. Well, I mean, much in the regard of many other musical artists out there, for some people it opens up a floodgate and allows you to reach a form of expression you never before reached. So absolutely. So what can you tell us a little bit about your musical style?
Well, bluntly put, is versatile. When I was 15, it was like it's kind of like skate punk, like Offspring, Guttermouth, Voodoo Glow Skulls, a lot of those kinds of bands. And then when I was like 18, it was like kind of like jazzy, folky, bluesy, funky sort of thing. And then I started getting my own rock bands together, and I was like garage rock, like Helicopters and the Hives, a lot of like Swedish inspired sort of stuff. And then like when I came out as trans when I was 31 in 2011, I kind of went back to the reggae and stuff like that, and then I found out about Bon Iver, and I was like, wow, a guy who sings in head voice or falsetto, and I felt like, well, I want to really exude that transiness, that femininity about me. And when I heard Bon Iver, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna nail it with this inspiration. and then when I was doing that, people were telling me I sound like Radiohead. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I didn't. I just hope I'm not that depressing though. And then I found out, and then I kind of knew about Anthony and Johnson's already. And I didn't really think much of them when they won the Eurovision Song Contest or something. And then I hadn't come out back then. Okay, so like now I decided to check Anthony Johnson's out, and there's a song by them that really inspired me. For Today I'm a Boy.
Mm-hmm.
and I realized that I guess I do kind of sound like Anthony Haggerty, and that's inspired me more with like wanting to improve my head voice singing style. So I was doing my head voice ambient stuff for about 3 years, and then I felt like I wasn't really getting the paid gigs and stuff. So I went back to the stuff that I did in when I was 18, like to in my early 20s, and now started getting paid gigs, and I'm playing covers and stuff like that.
Oh wow!
It's kind of sucks because, like, you know, I want to be able to get somewhere with my head voice stuff, and you know, and exude my transiness and my femininity that way. But
right,
yeah, I know it's complicated.
Yeah, so it certainly sounds like your music has evolved.
Mm.
You know,
it's kind of like evolved and had to go back to basics just because, like, you know, that will get me the gigs that I need to get and stuff like that. If you know what I mean?
Right. You know, so you're going around. You're performing gigs at, you know, various places. You're saying in Bournemouth and London area.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, tell me what is a loop pedal, for those of us that don't know these things.
Well, a loop pedal is something that records a sound, say like ding, and then you press the pedal to record it, and you got like ding, ding, ding. So, well, it kind of says it on the tin, you know.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like a sound loop.
Oh, okay.
So you can record, for example, I can record a beatboxing onto there. So I beatbox a little bit. So I've got that.
Nice.
I've got a bit of guitar. Something.
That's great.
And then a bit of trumpet. I can usually do better than that. And then now a bit of guitar, well, the real guitar. Some backup vocals, you know. Yeah. Wow. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. Shoot, well, maybe we'd have to have, you know, at some point you to come and do a live studio play for us, you know, someday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I'll go in there first because he can afford it.
Yeah. So talk to me about your debut album in 2012, Yui.
Well, firstly, I'd like to say that I believe in selling hard copies a lot more than selling copies online, because, you know, I sold over 200 of my hard copies, and that's like something that I really cherish. That's something that I'm really proud of, and that's when the whole idea started off with inspiration from Bon Iver. And when people started saying that I sound like quite hypnotic and sound like Anthony Johnson's, yeah, that's how the Yui Karlberg sound started off. So that's a very important album.
Absolutely. And are these albums available for purchase online? Can you buy a physical?
Yeah, you can buy them. You can buy them from. You can download them from iTunes and Amazon. You can hear them on Spotify for free. Those are the main ones, yeah.
Great. Well, we'll certainly put the links out there, make it available so that people can find it. Can you differentiate for me? What the change happened from your debut album Yui and then your second album Beauty Within the Beast.
Well, like I was listening to a lot of stuff on a popular radio station in England called Radio 1, and most of the time, like, they would have dance music on there. So I thought, right, think about it. Video games are really popular, and they sell so much, right? And I thought, well, yeah, electronic music and dance music, that's all you ever really hear on the radio these days. So that's when I started, like, playing a bit of drum and bass and a bit of house and a bit of dubstep. And I wanted my album, like, really have that kind of something to listen to, that won't make people fall asleep like my first album. I shouldn't really be putting it down after selling over 200 copies, but hey. But yeah, I just wanted to go for something different, experiment, and people really liked it, and that's how and nowadays I promote myself as an electro pop artist.
Electro pop, yeah.
And I'm still trying to figure out how to get that electro pop sort of feel for my live performances. So I'm saving up money at the moment to get some stuff like a laptop and and Ableton, and so I can do the electro pop thing and use my laptop when I'm playing live. Yeah. Otherwise, it would just be like my beatboxing and a little bit of synth and guitar and singing when I play live. But a dream really would be to get a backing band together. But I don't think I'm in the right town for that. I need to move to London or something. Yeah.
And what town are you in?
I'm in Bournemouth. It's like, basically, I came across a nickname for it, and that's what I'd love to call it for the rest of my life. I'd call it London on Sea. It's so appropriate. And
Febrero es el mes del amor y la amistad. Y KBBF te invita a celebrarlo en familia este sábado 21 de febrero en el 1700 de la avenida Corby en Santa Rosa. Comenzando de sabrosa comida acompañada de la música del sensacional Trío Orión.
Te quiero hoy, mi linda muñequita.
En los intermedios, deleítate con la música del sonido Costa del Sol. Y para sacarle brillo al piso tendremos la música de Félix y su grupo. Como maestro de ceremonias, José Carranza, del programa de Corazón a Corazón. La entrada $10 por persona, 15 por pareja, $5 estudiantes, niños menores de 12 años entran gratis. Para mayor información, comunícate al 707-545-8833, turno al 707-545-0318. Este es un evento para recaudar fondos para KBBF, tu estación de radio comunitaria.
Hi, this is Adam Rodriguez. Did you know that today 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic? That means many of the future doctors, engineers, scientists, and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. Many support you, and the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. Learn more at hsf.net. Brought to you by the Hispanic Scholarship Fund and the Ad Council.
Nuestro teléfono en cabina 707-545-0318. KBBF, la voz de tu comunidad.
All right. Hello, everybody. You are listening to the Queer Life Radio Show, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. If you've just tuned in recently, we are playing an interview with electro pop artist Yui Karlberg. She is a trans woman from the UK, and we're absolutely pleased to be able to share her interview. It is indeed a pre-recorded interview, so if you have any questions for us at all, we'd love to be able to answer them for you. You can give us a call, 707-545-0318. That number again, 707-545-0318. If you'd like to check out this episode or at the beginning of this episode or other episodes, it is all archived and broadcast live via video. Yes, I said video from within the KBBF studios here on thequeerlife.org, thequeerlife.org. Got all the episodes there. If you have the ability to watch YouTube, you can watch the videos right on there. And it streams live every week too. It's every Friday, 6 to 8 p.m., every Tuesday, 9 to 11 p.m. And we're just really excited to share this stuff with you. If you want to get news updates and stuff from around the LGBT community, you can subscribe to us on Facebook, facebook.com/thequeerlife. Tweet us at thequeerlife and go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/thequeerliferadio. All right, we're going to continue to play the rest of this interview here, and I certainly hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions for us, feel free to tweet us at The Queer Life or give us a call, 707-545-0318.
You've got the town, you've got the countryside, and you've got the ocean all in one place. And there's a thriving live music scene there. Mainly open mic nights, but if you play open mic nights and people like you, then you can get a paid gig out of it, and that's how it works.
Wow.
But we're a big community there. There's a big LGBT community, and there's a big music community there for musicians. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I really hate England, but I love Bournemouth to bits.
Right. So how have you been received as a trans artist, performing artist?
Well, I wish I could say I've been received just like anybody else, but it's the same thing. It's like the whole thing about society being backwards. You got to do everything by yourself, especially in England. And as a female, it will take time. I mean, it's still the whole thing about a white male is more likely to get gigs than a female, or even a female who's like a trans woman. But now, I think it's all about now that I'm playing stuff that is more accessible to people and not unique. It just sounds like everyone else. That's how I'm getting those paid gigs. It's kind of sad, but kind of cool at the same time.
Well, you kind of got to do what you need to do to pay the bills sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I like. To pay the bill. I like that.
But but obviously you are getting paid gigs. You're able to go out there and perform.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing now. I'm playing the uplifting stuff, so that it'd be a springboard for my ambient head voice stuff.
Right.
The Yui Karlberg sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. The Yui Karlberg sound.
I mean, I've started rewriting some of the songs that I've done on my albums, just to make them a bit more uplifting. But the ones I've got on my albums, I'm still going to keep it like that because I'm really happy with those, and people like it. But for one, I think I need to focus more on my live performances at the moment, because there's a that's how I want to get the paid kicks from that, you know.
Yes.
Mm.
Could you? So you said that you want to perform some more, but you hate the London area. Do you have aspirations?
I don't hate the London area. No.
Oh, okay.
The Bournemouth area is a bit of a tough nut to crack. But I kind of figure it out now, and I'm also started a covers band with another trans girl. So she plays bass, and we kind of got a drummer, but he's a bit too rock and roll for us. You know, I mean, like, yeah, he owes money to a drug dealer up in London, and he's got a court case because he used someone's. He stole a credit card and used it, you know, stuff like that. I can't really have a liability in the band, you know, on a professional side of things. And I've also joined a band as a singer, a new band, The Illusions of Babylon. So
Excellent.
I'm looking forward to that in the new year. Yeah.
Be sure to share some of that.
The world needs more trans musicians, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
what with
I love Mina Computer because there was a song by Life of Agony that I really could relate to. It's called Weeds. These weeds are growing with someone's song. I can feel it. Space between us. That sort of thing. And I haven't really heard Against Me that much, but I really adore
Laura Jane Grace.
Yeah, for coming out.
Yeah.
And I do worry even more that she's got family and kids and that, and she's got to deal with all of that. I listened to her song. What was it called? Gender Dysphoria Blues or something? I can't remember. It's not really my kind of music.
Oh yes,
I did like it. Yeah.
Kind of like a sort of like a speed, like a speed punk or.
Yeah, it sounds a little like Sexual Distortion.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget the name of the song, but we'll have a link down below as well.
Mm.
So, yeah, I was gonna ask you about what you thought about her. That's absolutely inspirational.
Mm.
What would you say your aspirations are with your music? Where do you want to go with it? How do you want it to be received?
Well, this is the thing, is that I realize that, like, music is power, and it is that us as trans people, we're still fighting for our rights, and even women and black people and everyone in the LGBT community are still fighting for their rights, and I want to use my music to help out with that. And like there have been many people who have used their music to help others. I don't know if you know Ben Harper.
No.
He's like kind of like does blues and does the whole sliding guitar thing. And his music's amazing. You got obviously you got what's his name? Bob Geldof.
Sorry, I feel like I'm
No?
a rocker. Yeah.
Okay. There's U2 as well, but I don't know if they do that sort of thing anymore. the early stuff like Sunday Bloody Sunday. That's been some inspiration for me through the years. I just basically I strongly believe in using music to change the world and make it a better place.
Absolutely.
And recently when I was on the night that I released my second single, Live Fast Die Young, that was the same night that Transgender Day of Remembrance was, on the 20th of November. I'm sure the date that you celebrate Transgender Day of Remembrance in America is completely different.
I think it's the same.
Yeah. So I might have been really nervous that night to say live on the mic that I appreciate if we could have 1 minute silence and people hold their candles up in the air. To remember those of us that are fallen.
Absolutely.
I feel emotional just saying that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you want to to take an activist role. With
Yeah,
your
that
work.
night I realised how sick I realised I can actually do this.
Okay, so let's pick up. You were talking about your music aspirations and where you want to go with your musical career. You said you were wanting to do some activism with your platform being a musician.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like why the power of music to do its job with whatever the puppet mistress wants it to do. Yeah. So I think that's definitely gonna help, especially when I did the video to Live Fast Die Young, which is on YouTube. Also, like, I know this is like what everyone else says. Like, I would like to be successful and establish your music so that I can put bread on the table, so to speak. But then, like, I think, like, do I want to
Sorry, it broke up a little bit right there.
And there are many people who. I mean, I'm asking myself at the moment, do I want to be signed?
So you said your aspirations in music were to use it as sort of an activist platform.
Yeah, not just activism. I mean, yeah, definitely like to like be especially trans rights, and lesbian, gay, and bi, and also race, because of the half Thai and the Chinese blood that I've got in me. And also, like, I mean, if I could help by help people in Africa and stuff like that, that'd be great. Okay. So I'm a big dreamer, but
right.
Don't things happen when you stop dreaming and like following your dreams? Because that's what's been happening to me.
Absolutely. Well, one of my favorite James Cameron quotes is, "Dream so high, so that even if you fail higher than the rest."
I like that.
Yeah. And that's It sounds like you're doing it, and you're definitely killing it with the work you do. From the little that I've listened of your music, I think it's fantastic and brilliant.
Thanks.
And definitely wish you great success in your music career. And you've got the support of the Queer Life KBBF Radio here, so we'll definitely be playing your stuff over the next year, at least with your permission, of course.
Yeah, you got it.
Absolutely. So we've talked quite a bit about your music career here. I want to talk about you a little bit. And as you know, this show is called The Queer Life, and tell us a little bit about your background. You said you and I spoke, and much to my surprise, you are half Thai, like me.
Dumb. That's right. Yeah, like I was born to a part Thai, part Chinese mother, who was, I can't believe this, also born in Chiang Mai, and she grew up in Japan.
This is crazy.
Oh god. And then my father, who's originally from North Sweden, I was born in Sweden to them, and in a fishing village called Vikhög, which is a very beautiful place where they've got the yacht racing annually. And then 2 years later, my brother Pontus followed, and then that'll be like 7 years on. I moved to England, where I would forget pretty much like all my time was Swedish. Okay, so I did my time over here. I only said over here in England. I'm not even in England. I'm in Washington D.C. I'm going to be like a Washingtonian for like 3 weeks. So that's my lovely American accent there.
That's funny.
Totally. So like after that, well, I could do my South African accent as well if you like.
Your what accent?
South African accent.
Oh,
Like,
oh gosh,
I'm
yeah.
back to Joburg, and that's the I'm going to die for the rest of my life. That's a lovely pride. So I did my time over in England. I went to primary school, secondary school, which I absolutely hated, which most people hate anyway, don't they?
Absolutely.
So and I've been going to Thailand and Sweden ever since I was born. Well, I went over to Sweden until my father passed away when I was 18. And I've been going to Thailand until I came back to England. So and then I went off to university. That's where I was away from him for the first time. And after having like worn my mum's clothes for a while in between the age of 12 and 18, it's when I went off to university that I realised that I want to transition.
Right.
But I thought I was the only one. I didn't know about transgender. I didn't know about trans women. I didn't know about, excuse the term, lady boys. You know, even though I've been going into Thailand, because my mum had been sheltering me from the things that she didn't want me to see. But anyway, I remember coming back home when I was 18, telling my mum that I want to well, to say it bluntly, have a sex change. And she was like, don't be silly. And I thought, well, as I'm the only person who feels this way, and I don't know anyone else, I thought maybe I'm insane or something. So I did what my mum said. I gave all this clothes I bought to charity, and I even burnt my bra because I got that inspiration from watching Friends when Ross and Rachel broke up. Rachel got the photos of Ross and stuff like that, and she was burning them and stuff. So I thought I'd do that with my bra and think, oh, maybe if I do that, then I'm going to stop this whole transgender thing. But no.
Clearly, it didn't work.
And like yeah, the whole time, like I said to myself, oh, after this birthday, after that birthday, after Christmas, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop with this because it's really hurting my family. But I wasn't back to it. I never knew why. And I am who I am. So now I am. I'm really happy for it. So yeah, there was university, and I was like in and out the closet. I mean, when I was 31, that's not the first time that came out. It's just like, now is the time that I come out, and I won't be going back into the closet at all, ever. So I guess I'd come out of the closet about twice before that, and I lived as I called myself Bethany back then, and then Fiona. For like a year when I was after university, and I just felt like really free, and I felt like, yeah, this is really who I am. And of course, like, I didn't want my family to know, because my mother had already had 2 breast cancer operations, both successful.
Good.
Thank God for that. Yeah. And but like I blamed myself. I felt like really guilty, that like maybe it's because of the whole trans thing, that was giving her stress and like giving her cancer. But
that's not true.
No, I know that's not true anymore.
Yeah.
Because otherwise she wouldn't be around right now.
Great.
So university finished, and I tried, well, since age of 14, and I tried meeting girls, but it only lasted like 2 or 3 months or something.
Meeting as in dating,
I should probably
Yeah.
I should probably add that I believe I lost my virginity to a Filipino guy when I was bi-curious at the age of 21. Even though as I say, the first time is not really the best time, but I still like to say that that's when I lost my cherry. Yeah. But like I was kind of like bi-curious before that, and then like that night I realized, well, he'd fingered me before. That was when I felt so bad about it. I went back home and I vomited and stuff, tried to vomit, and like that's when I realized that, yeah, this is me, and I know now that I knew then that when I have what do you call it, fun sex with a guy,
Right.
I never in my subconsciousness, I never felt like I was a guy with another guy. I always felt like female. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does to me as a trans woman.
Yeah.
But elaborate on that a little bit for the audience.
Wow. I mean, basically, I never really talked to someone about this before, so it's like a bit weird for me. But it's just like, I thought it would be like a guy with another guy kind of feeling, but it's not. I just knew that, like, it's like discovering myself and finding out more about myself, that like how much I identify as a female more than male.
Right. So, this exploration of sexual sexual curiosity. Yeah, I can hear you. It broke up just a little bit right there. There we go.
Yeah, I thought you look like you're gonna cry because you were like that. You look so serious.
Yeah.
What did you say? What did you say to that?
It seems like this exploration of sexual discovery for you has also been a way for you to to further discover and sort of reaffirm your own gender identity. Would you say that? So you say that it's helped you grow in that way?
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, like I felt bad at first because like I just knew how my family would feel if I told them that,
Right. Sort
and
of.
I still haven't done that. I don't need to really. But
Right.
my mum was surprised when I came out that like I was seeing this guy from Southampton, close to Bournemouth, and she was even more surprised that he's not the first guy that I've been seeing. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing about that's complicated, because I do have at least two people who, yes, I call friends, and they think of me, even though they won't say it to my face, they think of me as a gay man, because they don't understand like why I say to them like I'm a straight woman.
Right.
Yeah, but that's just English people, who some of them anyway.
Well, that's just most people actually.
Estás escuchando KBBF 89.1 Calistoga, Santa Rosa y gran parte del norte de California.
You're listening to KBBF 89.1 FM, Calistoga, Santa Rosa, the voice of your community. Here's another way for you to support the music you love on community radio, and it serves as a member of your tax deduction too. You can donate your used car, motorcycle, RV, or boat to KBBF by calling 877-411-3662. You don't have to go through any extra hassles, such as getting a smart check or going to the DMV. For information about donating your used vehicle to KBBF, go to kbbf-fm.org.
Raising kids can be tough these days. As a parent, you've got your hands full making sure your kids have what they need to stay healthy and get the care they need when they're sick. Well, now there's help. Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program offer free or low-cost health insurance for kids and teens, all the way up to age 19. They can get regular checkups, immunizations, doctor and dentist visits, hospital care, mental health services, prescriptions, and more. Children in a family of 4 earning up to $47,700 a year or more may qualify, and parents may be eligible for Medicaid too. It's a helping hand for parents with their hands full. For more information, go online to insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669. Enrollment is open year-round, but why wait? A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Ellos como yo escuchan KBBF 89.1 FM, la voz de tu comunidad, porque es divertida.
All right, hello everybody. You are listening to the Queer Life Radio Show, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. I am your host, Kaya Kramer, and I'm joined as always with my co-host, Mandy Howard.
I'm playing Naughty Cats.
And we are airing the rest of the Yui Karlberg interview, Electro pop artist.
So far, from everything that I've heard, it's a very well done interview. I'm very impressed. It's really good content.
Yeah, no, I'm really pleased that she was able to to give an interview.
Very open to like with her life and everything that she's going through. So that's super appreciated, and we love that kind of honesty on the show.
It's pretty amazing that we're able to get those kind of interviews from people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Shoot. So, all right. So, continue listening. Again, you are listening to the Queer Life Radio Show, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. If you'd like to see the beginning of this episode or any of the other previous episodes from the Queer Life, where we interview a whole bunch of other people, including Fallon Fox, Kelly Maloney, Double Rainbows guy.
Wait. We got Double Rainbows?
We got Double Rainbows all the way.
All the way.
Oh my god, I love that.
We should play that video game.
Oh my gosh, I love
it. Just to have a good laugh.
Seriously. But okay, so go to thequeerlife.org to see all of the other previous episodes. You can watch them. Yes, I said watch, because we do all of our episodes via Google Hangouts on Air, which streams through YouTube. Yes, YouTube, which is video, which is radio and video, and it's kind of crazy, but so it's some pretty amazing stuff. You can also follow us on Facebook. We are on facebook.com/thequeerlife. You can tweet us, or if you have any questions for us, then you can tweet us at The Queer Life, or just go to YouTube and just subscribe to us, youtube.com/thequeerliferadio. And we are just excited to share with you just new and amazing content every week. And so, if you love this show and you want to continue enjoying the show, we're on every Friday night, 6 to 8 p.m., and every Tuesday night, 9 to 11 p.m. Yes, it's blown up a little bit over here.
It's kind of crazy.
How
is this happening?
And so, okay, I just keep enjoying it. Keep listening. If you have any questions for us at any point tonight, give us a call, 707-545-0318. That number again, 707-545-0318. All right. I hope you enjoy. Continue listening to the Queer Life Radio Show, KBBF 89.1 FM.
Sexuality seems like a complicated thing already for most people. So
right.
I think it's just best that we just say to each other that we're bisexual. It's less complicated, even though it's not true.
Well, it sounds like what you just said there, that you may very well strongly rest on the side of identifying as a straight trans woman. Because our definitions for straights in modern thought is a straight person is somebody who identifies as being male or female and being sexually attracted to the opposite gender.
Women don't have anything that really. I mean, like I'm attracted into them, like in their figure and stuff like that, and their femininity and stuff. But like when it comes to the physical sort of thing, like it's just nothing there for me. And like like when they ask you to squeeze their dress, it's just like no, I didn't really want to do that because I'm guilty that I'm gonna hurt you or whatever. I feel guilty that I'm gonna hurt you, and I don't want to do that.
I think you might be straight.
Yeah. I just don't get it. I've tried it before, but it's just weird. It's weird.
Well, this is the reason why we have this radio show. This is the reason why I go out and do all this work educating people on this, because there is this lack of understanding that gender identity, sexual orientation, two very different subjects, two different trajectories, both sometimes complementary, sometimes not. And what a lot of people don't seem to understand, living in this binary world, that men are a certain way, women are a certain way, and then you add the gay community into that, and then all of a sudden, when people feel like okay, I think I understand gay people, I'm accepting of gay people, blah blah, all of a sudden trans people come in and they're just like, whoa, I'm confused, what's going on? Aren't these just drag queens? And
that makes me cringe. That really does. If that's how most people really think, that's just like,
yeah, it's this is why we have to put ourselves out there and let people know, and also to have the patience to let them know, because it is very frustrating.
I mean, the whole transgender thing has been going on for a while now anyway, and it was bound to happen. Because like obviously, yeah, it would stem from being gay, because a gay man is very feminine. Okay,
not always.
Most gay men are feminine, like quite cramped, yeah.
Not necessarily.
And then there would be like this is just an example of like how like I try to figure out things, and then if you don't like it, fair enough. and then like, for example, with the lesbian woman, some of them are quite masculine. So think about that, how that, it's like evolution, right? Like how that could evolve into trans woman and trans man. Do you see what I mean?
No, I definitely see the logical path there. It's
I'm aware that the world is very diverse, and the human brain is very diverse, but that is just one of those theories that I have, where like I'm able to like think how things work. I mean, I have Asperger's, so I that's one of the things about me. I like to figure out how this and that work, how it functions, how this came to be, how that came to be.
Right.
Like sometimes I'd go into a mall and I'd think like, and I'd visualize how it started. I'd see how it all started. Like, yeah, they put on that first, and then they put on that first. Maybe that's the art side of me. I don't know, the creative side.
Well, the belief that trans women are just effeminate homosexuals that cross-dress, and the belief that trans men are just overly butch lesbians, it's a fallacy, and it's the misunderstanding that sexual orientation, gender identity are on the same track or on the same subject, and they really aren't. There's many trans women who exclusively like women, who've even had
I agree with that.
There's a lot of trans men that I've met personally that would consider themselves gay men. They're trans men, and they are attracted to other men.
Yeah.
there was, I forget the study, but there was brain scans done of heterosexual men, heterosexual women, homosexual men, and then male to female transgender women. And brain scans showed that straight heterosexual men and homosexual men, straight men, they had very similar brain scans, in terms of their what read out on the screen. And when it's compared that of heterosexual women and male to female transgender women, it showed that we have the same brains as hetero cisgender women.
Yeah.
And
I'm not implying that that's what I believe. It's just like that's just a theory, because I'm aware that how diverse that the human brain is.
Absolutely.
Mm.
So, how?
I mean, there's even transgender and stuff like that in animals.
Gender, it's so big, and we definitely could talk about this for hours. I wanna jump on a little bit. So your sexual orientation is that you're very, very much attracted to men.
Mm-hmm.
Bi-curious in terms of your attraction to women. Identification is you identify as female, and so I want to ask you, what was, and this is what a lot of people ask me, what was, you said your family's response was they sort of didn't want you to do it, to come out. Was there the expectation that you were gonna make children and all that stuff?
Well, yeah. I mean, something that they've saying that's brought up quite a bit now. Like, my stepdad said the other day he's not expecting grandkids from either my brother or myself. So I'm kind of glad there's no pressure in that anymore.
Right.
Mm.
Well, as long as you've been on hormones, it might be difficult now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Considering what the hormones do to
I've never wanted kids. I mean, I can't even look after myself.
Right.
To some extent. Even my brother said he can't look after himself, which I'm surprised he said.
Do you have a desire to ultimately be with a male partner as a woman?
I used to, but I'm married to my guitar. Simply, but it's just like the Asperger's thing. Like, I just don't think either I don't think I'll be able to have a successful relationship with anyone, or maybe I'm just too fussy. I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to you to decide which one you think.
I think most women, cis or trans, believe that about themselves. I'm not sure if I can find a guy. I'm not sure if I can find a partner. I might be too neurotic, too fussy, like you're saying, blah blah blah. I think that's sort of more validation that you're just like any other woman.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
But, okay, great. Well, we are just about out of time here. The last thing I want to ask you is if there were any young, aspiring, trans musicians out there, just coming out as trans, trying to reconcile their gender identity with, being a musician and presenting their, the right foot forward. What would you say to them?
I would definitely say to them that, like my mum said to me, it's all in the mind. But what you do with your mind is up to you within reason. Things like writing songs and keeping your mind busy and meditating and stuff like that is really gonna strengthen you. Because it's a really mental journey. So preparing yourself mentally is what's going to get you on there. Yes. Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
It's like what Mahatma Gandhi said, and I never forget it. He said something like, "What you see is what you think. What you think is what you feel. What you feel is what you do. What you do is what you are."
Great quote. Absolutely great quote. Yui, I want to thank you so much for giving me an interview with this beautiful, talented, wonderful young lady that is yourself. And thank you for sharing your story, being vulnerable with us on here. Everything that we talked about in this interview will be down in the links below, and I so look forward to sharing your story with the world.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Thank you, Kaya. Yeah.
Okay, well, everybody, you've been listening to the Queer Life Radio Show, LGBT News, Modern Perspectives, Roundtable Discussion, and Interviews. I'm your host, Kaya Kramer, on KBBF 89.1 FM in the San Francisco Bay Area. I have just been interviewing Yui, who is an amazing and brilliant musical artist, trans woman extraordinaire. And so everybody continue to tune in. The show is every Friday night, 6 to 8 p.m. on KBBF 89.1 FM in like I said, in San Francisco Bay Area, but it's also available on thequeerlife.org. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/thequeerlife. Tweet us at thequeerlife and subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/thequeerliferadio. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Good night.
Great, everybody. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed that interview with Yui Karlberg, UK electro pop artist who also happens to be a trans woman as well. And again, if you didn't listen to just my little closing on the pre-recorded interview, this is the Queer Life Radio Show, LGBT News, Modern Perspectives, Roundtable Discussions, and Interviews. I am your host, Kaya Kramer, and I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Mandy Howard.
Loving it.
Woo!
Hey,
Woo!
Wait, do we got? I'm assuming that's a sound effect.
Yeah,
I don't have my headphones in, so that way I don't have to hear you.
I just did some applause right there. That's pretty amazing. So we're going to be going on to our news segment of the Queer Life Radio Show. If you have any questions for us, you can give us a call, 707-545-0318. That number again, 707-545-0318. Again, disclaimer, we're not doctors, we're not lawyers, we're not mental health professionals. Dragon trainers, we are not dentists.
Wait, I am a dragon trainer.
You are? Oh
yeah,
my god.
I watched How to Train Your Dragon.
Does that make... Oh, wow. Does that make you a dragon master?
Yes.
So we're going to get on with the news segment of the show. We got a couple articles from current events and from around the web that we thought would be fit to share with you. If you want to check out more of that, more articles, so we share a lot of them regularly, but not overly too much, facebook.com/thequeerlife, or Twitter, follow us at thequeerlife. So I'm going to get into our news section right here, and it is time for the news.
Oh my god.
All right, first article for tonight, and again, we probably won't be able to get to all of them, but if you want to check out these articles that we're reading and discussing and sharing perspectives on, or the ones that we won't be able to get to, go to thequeerlife.org, and this is episode 28, Yui Karlberg. You can actually see that here on thequeerlife.org. We also have content on the website Trans Atheist Podcast and Let's Be Honest Podcast. Trans Atheist Podcast is a trans woman from Minneapolis, and Let's Be Honest is a lesbian woman from San Francisco, and they've got really interesting and amazing perspectives, and we're so appreciative of having them on there. Again, some of these articles that you'll be hearing are from Planet Transgender, who we've been in partnership with as well, and they've been producing some very high quality content with their team out there.
A very, very good news website that's obviously trans-centered.
Yeah.
So, and we love them.
And again, they are a not-for-profit organization, as is KBBF. So it's all just organizations helping organizations. So first article for the night is 6 Reasons Why Being Called a Cis Person is Not Oppressive. That's from Everyday Feminism. Second article is Petition for Leela's Law Banning Conversion Therapy Heads to the White House. Third article, Not Your Mom's Trans 101. Fourth article, Unpacking the Public Bathroom Debate for Cis People. Why bathroom access needs to be safe for people of all genders. And the last article for the evening, if we can get to it, is Transgender Woman Denied Restroom Access in Balboa Park. So we've always got quite a bit going on out here for you, and we certainly hope that you enjoy some of the content. So we're going to start out with the first article of the night, 6 Reasons Why Being Called a Cis Person is Not Oppressive. This is from everydayfeminism.com. Mandy, what does cis mean again to our audience?
Cis, or as we like to say, sissies. Cis in this reference refers to cisgender or cissexual, and basically it's the opposite of trans, and trans meaning across from, so your brain and your body are across from each other. They're not in alignment. In other words, male body, female brain, that makes you trans. If you have a male body and a male brain, meaning you were assigned male at birth, you feel like you're a guy, you're male, that means you're cis, which means on the side of. So just kind of the opposite of trans, really.
Absolutely. All right, let me dive right into this interview here. And again, you'll be hearing us use this terminology live. You kind of want a little bit of a primer. You can actually listen to the first episode where we go through a lot of the terminology on thequeerlife.org. So 6 reasons why being called a cis person is not oppressive. As if I didn't get enough of it at the local queer club the other night, it's time to poke some bears. All sorts of arguments are being flung back and forth across the internet about this whole usage of the term, quote, cisgender for, you know, cisgender people. The bulk of the resistance is from the cisgender community, which feels the usage of the term is oppressive or reverse transphobic, or a war against cis people or something. What the heck does cisgender mean, you ask? It's pretty much the polite way of saying not transgender. Now you're all caught up, and pretty certain on which side of this argument I reside. In fact, the above statement tends to be the Reader's Digest version of my whole spiel. It's polite to say cis instead of not trans. The end. But if that's not convincing enough for you, here are 6 reasons why using the C word is all about helping trans people, not all about, say, making cis people feel like crap. Number 1, it's a form of realistic classification. Let's use the analogy of a lollipop. I really like lollipops.
So should we read this as a play?
I guess so. Yeah.
You want to be you?
I'll be me.
Okay, you're me. I'm you.
Wait, who's on first base?
All right.
Okay. All right, I'll be me.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, you be you. Wait, you be me. All right, you be me. Go.
Oh, yeah, stop laughing. Well, hey there, best friend ever. Is that a lollipop on which you're so enjoyably sucking?
Yep.
May I ask, what flavor it is? My most loyal and esteemed companion.
Red.
Your explanation tells me something, but not much. It just doesn't quite hit the mark on what I'd been asking. When I'm told the flavor is red, I do indeed have a good idea of the artificial flavor of red, but I still don't know if that red flavor is specifically meant to be cherry, strawberry, raspberry, watermelon, pomegranate, cinnamon, fruit punch, berry blend. Basically, there are a lot of ways to be red, just like there are a lot of ways to be male, female, intersex, gender nonconforming. By using cis woman with trans woman, as opposed to trans woman and just plain woman, we're spreading the message that trans woman isn't abnormal. There is no other and no one true woman. Instead, said trans woman is just as much a woman as any cis woman.
Whoa, back up.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah.
You know, aren't some of the life experiences of cis women different from that of trans women? Of course they are. But so are the life experiences of, say, a cis woman who is a survivor of sexual violence as opposed to a cis woman who isn't. Or one who grew up in utter poverty instead of getting a pony on her sweet 16. Some of us were dealt a rougher hand in places, you know? So cis women as a whole may have it tough in some areas or some arenas, while trans women may have it tough in other arenas. Sometimes those arenas overlap. Recognize it, respect it, move along.
So basically, we all have different experiences.
Exactly.
Yeah. So number 2, it recognizes differences without creating a reft. Again, if you're just tuning in right now, we are talking about 6 reasons why being called a cis person is not oppressive. Cis as in cisgender. It recognizes differences without creating a rift.
And the reason this is being written on is because in the cis community, there's some backlash against the term cis, saying that it's offensive to them.
Right. I mean, without like necessarily going through the whole article here, I mean, I like one of the highlights here. Trans people aren't super special for moving from one space to another, and cis people aren't super special for staying put.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not trying to get attention by coming out as trans. We don't create these parades to show off how awesome it is to be trans.
What I like is number 3, where it says it encourages cis people to check their privilege.
Wow, yes.
And it says, did you just hear that? That was a collective groan from the mainstream. Check your privilege. Yeah. You can't we think of anything new to tell you to do? But we keep bringing it up because, well, it's true and it's important. The cultural issue with cis people is that they are deemed the normal ones, the default, the card carriers of the gender country club. And as much as I'm tempted to quote Groucho Marx on that one, I'll do basic rights instead. The Groucho Marx quote, because I happen to be a Marx Brothers nerd,
Marx Brothers fan,
is any club that would have I would never belong to any club that was I would never belong to any club that would have me as a member. So, yes, thank you. Okay, and that's not in here. That's not in the story. I just did that from memory because I love Marx Brothers.
You're
anyway,
a nerd.
I'm a big nerd. So why do we say cisgender instead of non-transgender? Because referring to cisgender people as non-trans implies that cisgender people are the default and that being trans is abnormal. Many people have said transgender people and normal people. But when we say cisgender and transgender, neither is implied as more normal than the other. So
yeah, because we've kind of been around just as long as everybody else.
Yeah. We're just as relevant.
It's not like we just started to exist as soon as Laverne Cox got in.
KBBF radio that motivates profound thoughts in children.
What up, y'all? This is DJ Broken Record. Make sure to tune in to the Broken Record Radio Show here on KBBF 89.1 FM in the North Bay. Every Monday night at 9 p.m. to hear dance music from all over the world. News, current events, interviews, and exclusive tracks and mixes from producers and DJs from around the globe. Broken Record Radio Show, Monday nights at 9 on KBBF 89.1 FM.
I don't want another drinking man in my life. I want to feel more fulfilled. Does my happiness depend on whether someone else drinks? My pastor suggested I try Al-Anon family groups, and I'm glad I did. Are you troubled by someone else's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Porque somos la primera estación radio bilingüe en el norte de la bahía. KBBF 89.1 FM, la voz de la comunidad.
All right. You're listening to the Queer Life Radio Show, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. We were just reading 6 reasons why being called a cis person, short for cisgender, is not oppressive. Was number 3. It encourages cis people to check their privilege. Not just saying we're transgender and you are normal. Or
it forces them to recognize that they do have what we term as cis privilege or cisgender privilege. So
Right.
it even identifies the fact that they too have a gender identity. You know, they may not think of themselves as having a gender identity, but they do. They just don't ever think about it.
Yeah.
You know, we're born with, like you and I are born with female gender identities.
Right.
We were assigned male at birth, but our minds, our thoughts, patterns, how we relate to the world are female.
Right.
So our gender identity is female. Now, if you're female body, female mind, you're probably not going to be as aware of your gender identity. So identifying somebody as cis kind of puts a spotlight on the fact that there is a gender identity there and that you should be aware of it and conscious of it and be aware that it does exist in other people and that it can be opposite to what your body is, you know, biologically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I was being interviewed once and somebody asked me, when did you realize that you were transgender? And then I'm like, okay, let me answer that question by asking you a question. Or
No,
she's like,
not
okay.
a question with a question.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And I asked the person who was interviewing me, I said, when did you realize you were cisgender? And
Yeah.
she was like,
she's like, I don't even know what cisgender is.
it's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah. Well, you are cisgender, yes. Well, I kind of have always just been a woman. I'm like, well, there you go. It's like, what do you mean? Yes.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What do you want about?
And it's the idea that we are transgender from the moment of our sentience on this planet. But I want to jump on to number 4 here.
It is not reverse transphobia.
What is reverse transphobia?
I guess it's kind of like the idea of reverse racism.
Right.
You know, the idea that when a person of color are being, you know, abusive verbally or, you know, through their actions towards a white person, a lot of white people like to call it reverse racism.
Mm-hmm.
And in much the same way, this is not reverse transphobia, right? I mean,
right. We're not being cisphobic.
Well, because there is no reverse. It's reverse racism is just racism. It's not.
Yeah.
Racism isn't a one-way street. It's
racism is racism.
It's just racism.
And bigotry is bigotry.
Bigotry is bigotry, no matter who it's coming from. So there's no reverse because that puts the default on somebody else. So this isn't reverse transphobia. It's not us purposely trying to come down on somebody else because, you know, we feel oppressed or whatever. There's a great quote on here from, I guess, I don't know if it's a Twitter name or I don't know where it's quoting, but the guy's name is Uppity Biscuit. And basically, he says, "Do not call me cisgender. You have no right or authority to name me without my consent. It does not come from us, and its origins are from a trans perspective. Do not call me cisgender. That is offensive to me. I am offended that you consider that you have the power over me and can name me."
Wow. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Well,
you think of that response?
It's very interesting. I mean, first off, cisgender is somewhat of a kind of like a very scientific academic sort of term, just used as label. And people say up and down the street, well, I don't like labels. Why do we have to use labels? What's the point of labels? Blah blah blah. And the explanation that you gave me, I really like, and it's that labels are useful.
Well, yeah, labels are extremely useful. I mean, a lot of the people in the queer community, especially the younger generation, they don't like the idea of being labeled. However, for me, having a label is important because I can give you a label, and that tells you a little bit about myself. It doesn't tell you everything, but it gives you a starting point, a foundation on which to build your knowledge of who I am as a person,
Right.
so you get to know me better.
Right.
So, but it lays that foundation. It makes it easier to get to know me. So when it comes to using the term cis or cisgender or whatever, what we're saying is that you, as a cis person, have a body and mind that are in alignment. We're not going to call you normal, because that would imply that we are abnormal or not normal. We're not going to say you're genetically male or genetically female, because we don't know unless you've had your genes tested.
Yeah,
right?
that would be an assumption.
That would be an assumption. And not everybody who appears and thinks male is biologically male. There are intersex conditions which you can muck all that up.
Yeah, and you would never know for years.
You would never know unless you were tested.
Some people have died not knowing.
Yeah. So you need to. It's not always easy to know these things without actually being tested. So using the term cis kind of erases all of those assumptions. In other words, the one thing we do know for sure is that you identify within your own body, or you don't, or you don't.
Right.
If you don't, you're trans. If you do, you're cis. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. What I like here is the true point behind the cis label movement is to help everyone out, and not despitefully put down cis people. It's not meant to be derogatory. It's not meant to be pejorative, much in the way that we were labeled as transgender, that we were labeled as transsexuals. These are words to describe what we are in terms of our specific experience as human beings. And there are trans women who don't like being called transgender.
Yeah, they want to be considered just women or just men. And I don't know if they would necessarily want to consider themselves cisgender. I would say in a way you might be able to if you transition to the point to where your body is in alignment with your mind. I mean, technically you could, I guess, call yourself cisgender, but I would say to me that's implying that you don't want to be trans, and that trans is a bad thing to be.
Right.
So like I've said before on the show, and we've had discussions before, where my whole thing is to make sure that trans women, trans men, trans people know that it's okay to be trans. You don't have to aspire to be not trans. You don't have to aspire to look like a cis girl or a cis guy.
Right.
You don't have to aspire to act like a cis person. Act like yourself, look like yourself, whatever that is. Even if it means looking like a cis person, that's fine too. But make it who you are, make it your own. Don't let anybody else slap a very specific label upon you. If you want to use labels for yourself, that's great. If you don't. While labels are helpful, make sure you're defining yourself and what those labels mean to you. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Number 5.
Number 5, it doesn't give permission to disclose a trans person's medical or body history. And that's actually kind of a big no-no that a lot of people think that it's like, oh, hey, I'm just curious and just asking questions, And, it's all right to be curious. It's all right to ask questions, but, we trans people, trans men or trans women, ask that you consider societal norms for what's polite to ask.
Well, basically, what this is saying is kind of what I was just talking about a little bit, and that's the idea of being okay with calling yourself trans or outing yourself as being trans. Now, for this here, just because I out you as a cis person doesn't mean you have permission to out me as a trans individual, right?
Right.
Now, if I want that I'm trans, that's my thing. Because that's my own private issue. So just by me calling you cis doesn't give you permission to then tell everybody that I'm trans, right?
Yeah.
So it's not really a two-way street in that regard. Let's see. Anyway, so now you're getting a little huffy at the unfairness of it all. Why, pray tell, are we allowed to label you as cis without your direct permission, and yet you're not allowed to run around telling everyone we're trans? And this is reading from the text. Well, aside from the above explanations as to why the usage of cis is a good thing, Being labeled cis isn't the same as being labeled trans. You're not suddenly at risk for being harassed, insulted, fired, raped, stabbed, choked, shot, or abandoned for your cis identity in itself. So in other words, depending on the situation that you're in, being labeled as trans can be extremely dangerous and detrimental to your health and to your living situation and your social situation. Now, obviously, our goal is to change that, to change it to where being trans is going to be a good thing. Oh, we're so happy to have a trans child. We're so, we're so grateful. I mean, how awesome is that? That should be the response. It shouldn't be like, oh my God, our child's going to have such a hard time. I'm afraid for their safety. Somebody might hurt them. Somebody might try to kill them for being who they are. That's why it is not okay to out somebody as trans without their permission. And when you out somebody as being cis, nobody's going to come after them for that. No, they're cis. They're like, without saying normal, they're like everyone else. The average, they're average. Being trans still carries that stigma with it. So
it's dangerous.
Yeah, being outed as trans is, can be a horrible thing depending on the area that you're in the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
So
even here in California.
Oh yeah. There have been several deaths recently here in California, even in the city.
The Bay Area stabbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big demonstration for it. So I hope that shed a little bit of light why we use the term cisgender for cis people, basically not trans. It's just to kind of put us all on the same level playing field. Just to say we're all human, You're cisgender, I'm transgender. And, if you don't want to use labels, don't, but at the same time, we just all want to get along,
Can't we all just get along?
I know, right? All right, second article here. We got a couple minutes to talk about it. Petition for Leela's law banning conversion therapy heads to the White House.
Yep. So basically, they got enough signatures to essentially force the Obama administration to issue a response.
Right.
It doesn't mean they're going to pass anything, but he at least has to issue a public response. Either, I don't think he has to do a press conference or anything, but it's something in writing that is an official response from the White House.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's actually from Obama.
I mean, it's pretty incredible that Obama even mentioned trans people in the speech.
Actually, I think it has a decent chance of actually passing or something similar to it passing, because it is super important to get rid of this horrible practice of trying to conversion therapy, trying to use the power of the Lord to convert people back to the average normal person, and trying to kind of shame people in being who they want to be,
right?
Shaming them into being like everybody else, because people out there fear what's different. They fear what they don't know, and that's the whole thing about everything that we go through as trans women, is we want to educate people. So by educating people, we're helping them understand this more, and it's a lot harder to hate somebody who you understand. It really is.
Yeah.
When you understand what somebody goes through and how they think and everything else, when you really, really understand it, it's super hard to continue to hate them.
What exactly is conversion therapy?
Conversion therapy is essentially, usually it's related to some kind of religious organization. So let's say you have a trans daughter, meaning a male to female. Your son is coming out as a woman, and you want to cure him of his illness. And so you would send your trans daughter, you would send her to conversion therapy, and they kind of basically just kind of shame you into kind of resisting your impure thoughts. And most of the conversion therapies recognize that you're not going to stop having impure thoughts, or you're not going to stop having trans thoughts. What they try to teach you to do is to try to teach you to control your thoughts and not to act upon them, right? A lot of the people who do conversion therapies are former gay men or lesbian women or former trans people who are going to help other people. Now, the funniest part about that is the majority of them, many of them who ran these organizations and these conversion therapy groups have, quit the groups and then come out as being, still being gay and still being active, because again, they recognize that you can't get rid of these thoughts. These are things that are part of you.
Many of us have tried.
Yeah, we tried. We tried for a long
Yeah.
time, trying to ignore it. So
it's some pretty incredible stuff. This at least it's making its way to the White House. And again, rest in peace, Leela, young trans woman who committed suicide within the last couple months here, and we actually did a feature episode talking about her and sharing her experience. I actually replayed it just this last Tuesday night.
yeah, that's really sad.
But yeah, so I want to jump on here to the next article for the next couple minutes here.
Not your mom's trans 101.
Yeah, which I thought was a pretty brilliant article. It's kind of long, but I want to read some of it here. Not Your Mom's Trans 101. There's a huge problem with the way that people are taught about gender in this society. Children are indoctrinated early to believe that there are two sexes corresponding with two genders, which are both immutable and non-voluntary and completely beyond our control. This worldview is called the gender binary, and it has no room in it for us. Trying to teach a new perspective to the victims of this extremely aggressive brainwashing can be daunting. In fact, the task can seem downright impossible. The temptation, therefore, is to, quote, dumb things down for the benefit of a cisgender audience. The situation has given rise to a set of oversimplifications collectively known as Trans 101. These rather absurd tropes, such as blank trapped in a blank's body, cause confusion among even well-meaning cis folks, feed internalized transphobia among us trans people, and provide endless straw man fodder for transphobic radical feminists, entitled cisgender academics, and other bigots. Near the beginning of my transition, I myself taught, quote, Trans 101 this way because I didn't know any better, because I had been taught to think of myself in terms of these same useless tropes, such as F to M as a female man, as somebody who was, quote, changing sexes. Eventually, though, a lot of intense discussions and a lot of tough love from people who are more knowledgeable, more radical, and more politically sophisticated than myself, I came to see things very differently. I haven't tried to teach Trans 101 since extracting my head from my
from your back pocket.
But I think the time has come for me to tackle the problem of explaining and defining what it means to be transgender without resorting to cis-sexist language. It strikes me as I contemplate this task that Trans 101 is generally not only dumbed down, but also declawed. There are truths that I must speak here that are incredibly threatening to a cis supremacist worldview, that's an interesting word, that attack its very foundations. But I, for one, am willing to do that. I am not here to make cis people comfortable or to reassure them that they are still the center of the gendered universe. In fact, I am totally fine doing the opposite. Without further ado, let's begin. Gender assigned at birth.
You talk really fast.
Yes. Disclaimer. Let's start at the beginning. A baby is born, the doctor says it's a boy or it's a girl based on the... Well, I mean, without getting into this article further, because
we can go over it next week where we have more time.
Yeah. It's the idea, and we even do this in the show.
Yeah, we talk about these terms and terminology and definitions, and I think we're pretty current with the way we talk about it. But there's always room to improve and room to learn.
Right.
And the definitions and the way people discuss it are always changing.
Right.
And I think that's what this is all about. Is this person was using terms in one specific way because that's how they learned them, and perhaps that's how they were taught at one point or another, or that's how they were explained to them. But these things evolve, they change, and we have to be able to change with it.
Absolutely. I mean, it just the name of the website is Trans Anarchism, and there's a couple schools of thought in terms of the trans activism that's going on in the world right now. There's the trans anarchists, so to speak, without a better term for it, who are all about, quote, trans liberation, that we are being oppressed by that we need to have radical movements to make change in society. And then there's the quote trans reformists, which I would say at the very least I fall under, to make change within society, within the current structure that we have, and do it slowly, piece by piece, and try to bridge understanding. At least that's our aim to do so on the show. We're not coming on here to tell you how bad you are as a cis straight person, and that or just to point our finger and call ignorant or bigot or whatever, but to share information.
Yeah, we're always sharing. We're never and we're never really purposefully trying to belittle anybody. But sometimes because of the nature of what we talk about, it ends up happening anyway. But we don't ever mean anything by it. So
yeah, I mean, we have just a couple minutes left here of the Queer Life Radio Show. I want to make just like a really cool announcement here is the Queer Life Radio Show. You're listening to KBBF 89.1 FM, but the Queer Life Radio Show is going to be syndicated on KWTF, which is out of Bodega Bay, within the next couple weeks here.
Bodega Bay sounds like a nice place to vacation.
Exactly, yeah, and it sounds like a nice place to be listening to the Queer Life.
Yeah, there you go. On the beach, just chilling. Wait, I'm assuming there's some kind of a beach.
There's a. Have you been to Bodega Bay?
I maybe. I don't know. I'm not familiar
Oh my
with the
gosh,
area.
are you kidding me?
I believe I have.
Are you for real?
I'm not from the area. I'm from SoCal.
We have to have a quick. You're from SoCal and you haven't been to the beach yet. Well,
I've been to the beach, just not Bodega Bay.
Okay, we're gonna take you to Bodega Bay.
All right, I probably have been. I just
Queer Life field trip. We have a couple field trips we need to do.
Yeah, I know. We gotta go to Comic-Con.
Gotta go to Comic-Con.
Gotta go to E3.
There's a Brony convention coming up soon.
Yeah. That'd be great if we can go to a Brony
I want to confirm what the dates are. I've got the link here, and we're gonna go there as the press.
Will I be otherwise disposed during this time period?
Disposed of?
In the
Oh yeah. Oh, maybe so.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh, that's coming right up. When is?
But I can call in from the hospital.
Yeah, well, you've got your gender confirmation surgery coming up
in 37 days, basically.
Oh my gosh, that is
37 days.
incredible.
Yeah, I'm so super excited.
Mind equals blown here.
I know, what?
Are you very excited? Very excited.
Very excited.
Like Borat. That's Big Hero 6.
Yeah, I've been watching Big Hero 6. Mine.
And I actually have my gender confirmation surgery set for October 29th of
Oh
this
wait,
year.
so let me get this straight. So when you're gone, does this mean I have to do the show by myself?
Yeah, you're gonna have to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so,
oh my god. I apologize ahead of time.
Right. Or we can just do a record an episode in advance and just play it.
I hope everybody loves polka.
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 Very good.
It's very classic music. Everyone loves polka.
Absolutely. Just kind of a quick message to close the show with, and we close the show with pretty much the same message all the time. Is if you have somebody out there who is questioning their sexual orientation,
sexual orientation, gender identity,
their gender identity, somebody who has come out as gay or trans, somebody who's in a place of pain or suffering, somebody who may not have the ability to reach out themselves to you, and you have the ability to reach out to them, whether it be send a message to them, give them a call, shoot a text, Facebook message them, tweet
Twitter,
them,
Insta.
Insta,
Pinterest.
yeah, Pinterest. just let them know that you care about them. That's
or ring their doorbell.
Ring their doorbell if that's appropriate.
If it's appropriate,
given the context of your friendship. And because it's you don't want anybody out there to feel alone.
Well, always let them know you care, and if you have a family member who you think may want to come out, without asking them about it, just let them know, hey, you can always come talk to me and try to be open with what they have to say to you.
Yeah, be there to listen. Anyway, you've been listening to the Queer Life Radio Show, LGBT news, modern perspectives, roundtable discussions, and interviews. I am your host, Kai Kramer. I'm joined as always with my co-host, Mandy Howard. And this show airs every Friday night, 6 to 8 p.m. and every Tuesday night, 9 to 11 p.m. here on KBBF 89.1 FM. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful night.